Tuesday, March 18th, 2025, 6:33 p.m. And this is a meeting of the Bolton Advisory Committee. Okay, we are nearing the end of the line in terms of reviewing the budget. In fact, I think there is only one item left for us to vote on. And if I have power to share my screen, which I will shortly, then we can look at the last item, which I think is just is the school budget, which was just voted on last week. So I think we have final numbers there, and we can take a look at those. Okay, while we're waiting for screen sharing to come up, I will just talk through the numbers. So, and Marie, hopefully you can confirm this for me. So the last number that we saw from, this is the Neshoba Regional School District that they voted on. So the operating assessment to us was 18,995,161.
Up. And yes.
And then the debt, with the debt included, it brings the total to 21,139,277.
277.
Can you give me that number one more time, Bob?
Yes, the total number is 21,139,277.
Thank you.
Bob, it is not letting me reclaim the host of this meeting. Who is the
Okay.
first person that joined the meeting? Does somebody have hosting capabilities?
It's not me because I can't share anything either. Bill, could you be the host by any chance?
Nope, sharing is not turned on. The host isn't allowing sharing for this meeting.
Can I claim it through the participants thing?
I tried to, and it didn't allow me to do that either.
Yeah, I'm not the host. Not me either. So sorry, not me.
Perhaps Robin.
Hi, Don, welcome. We're just getting started.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Actually working through some technical difficulties.
Oh, are our friends visiting us again?
No,
Oh,
no.
No.
Fortunately, no.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean it.
Would it be a terrible trouble if everyone exited the meeting and came back in?
Using the same link.
Yeah, but if you pause for about 2 minutes, if we rejoin at 6:38,
Okay.
I could go in and adjust the meeting and launch it
Okay.
Sure.
and see what the problem is.
Okay.
See
See you in 2.
All right, great. Thank you very much.
Ta-ta.
we should be good to go once we have,
Yeah. And now with waiting room protection, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Okay. How are we looking now, Jenny?
we're looking good to go. You should be able to share.
Okay, good, good. All right, well, let's we'll just take it from the top again. I'm waiting for Craig. And there's Craig. Okay. All right, great. Good evening, everyone. After some brief technical adjustments, we're back. So again, this is a meeting of the Bolton Advisory Committee, March 18th, 6:39 p.m. Okay. We were talking through the Neshoba Regional School District assessment, and now I can share my screen. Take a look at that. Okay. I think everything froze. Can everyone see that?
Yep.
Okay. So this is the NRSD budget line. The operating budget assessment to us is 18,995,161. There are 3 debt assessments, one for the track and field debt, one for the leach field debt, and of course, the second installment for the high school debt brings the total to 21,139,277. And so this was voted on last week. So it comes to us as an assessment. At this point, the number is what it is. Anyone have questions?
I'd like to get some context if I could, and I'd rely on maybe Stan and Marie and others with more experience than I, but it's come across to me in the past couple of days that it appears that the school has enough of its excess and deficiency balance to cover almost the entire increase that they passed along to the 3 towns this year. They've got what appears to me, and I'll be happy to share where I got my information, that they're going to have well over $3 million in the excess and deficiency, and yet the whole thing's being passed along to the 3 towns, and there doesn't seem to be any. They're not using this to reduce the pain, and it seems to me that this is just an accounting, a quick change, quick accounting entry, and the whole thing goes away. So I'm a little confused. So the source of my information is 2 places. In the proposed budget number 2 page, they talk about on page, oh, I didn't put down the page, I'm sorry. They have an excess and deficiency balance certification that the state has certified that they have 2,400,000 some odd thousand of excess in their balance, sort of like our free cash. And then when I went back and I also looked at their operating budget report that's on their website as of December 31st, 2024. And on the December operating report, they are projecting an additional 800,000 of money that won't be spent that that was voted in for them last year. So to me, and this is, please tell me if I'm mistaken. It appears that they're gonna have over 3.2 million in free cash, excess and deficiency, balance, whatever you want to call it. But a reserve that could cover some portion of this increase that we are facing as the three separate towns. Is this Marie, Stan, Bob, whoever? Are my numbers correct?
Your numbers are correct based on the Gateway excess and deficiency certification. The district had agreed to only apply half of that for the reduction of the operating expenses that it would be assessing the three towns. And the increase in the debt is the debt. That will not
Yeah.
be,
I
yeah,
understand the debt.
yeah. By the same token, the district had, although we'd wanted a much lower increase, last year was only like a 3%, 5.20 is crippling. They're also holding fast to their number regardless of any changes in their Title IX, IDEA grants, et cetera. So they've made the decision, and similar to the advisory making a decision in terms of the reserve fund. They have applied half in the prior year and they'll be applying only half this year and having a holdback.
So of what's going to be probably based on their estimate and the certified free cash, they're going to have 3.2 million and they're using 1.4 of it.
They're using half and reserving half, similar to last year.
I'm seeing 1.4 on their joint FinCom presentation, page 39. So a little less than half of is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I understand reserves. I've been dealing a lot with reserves in my career. This doesn't seem fair. This doesn't seem appropriate. I especially think the people that got laid off, had they realized this, might not think this is even less appropriate. I'd love to get the opinion of everyone out there.
I think they should use more of their reserve. I think they should use more of it. I mean, we cut our free cash to the bone. So I think that the school should do the same.
Bob, Bill, whoever.
So, I don't disagree with you.
I realize this is a moot point.
Right.
No, it's not a moot point. We still have an opportunity to discuss this.
Okay.
I mean, I personally hesitate to suggest that the school should use whatever some specific value is of their excess and deficiency. I don't know what their challenges are going forward and what they're reserving their E&D funds for. So in principle, I don't disagree with you, but the specifics of how much they should apply, I can't say.
Right. And I did reach out to Ross today, but he hasn't been able to get back to me. And I don't know if he's the person to answer that, but it just, it doesn't seem appropriate, the action they're taking on this. And it just troubles me that this is going to end up costing everybody's pocketbook next year in order to keep the school, to have this balance at the school. I agree. I don't know what they're up against. And it's only, I'm late to the party, to say the least. I apologize, but this is a being a bear of very little brain, it's just started to sink in on me. And it is just, it bugs the heck out of me, to use an official term.
So what could be done, Stan, to compel them to use more of their free cash?
Well, there's a lot of things. I've been advocating that there's a lot of extraneous and a lot of middle management that should be looked at and potentially reviewed and potentially removed from their budget. I've been doing this since November of last year. I mean, we're at the 11th hour now, and it's probably too late to do any of that now. But there's a huge amount of non-teaching salaries, non-teaching positions that don't affect the quality of the education that the kids are getting. That's there. I mean, we're talking about 15 full-time clerical positions and another $666,000 of admin and clerical system-wide. And I don't know what that's for. I have no idea. I have no idea. But when we're cutting free cash yet again to the bone, and we're going to ask our voters for a $1.975 million override.
Mm-hmm.
I have yet to see shared sacrifice with the district. Yeah, remember when Kurt Downing presented his budget on January 15th, he presented something where I'm going to just have everybody throw everything into the kitchen sink of what people want. And it was an outrageously high budget. And then 2 weeks later, they brought stuff down. To me, that's not responsible budgeting when they had 3 months from October to December to do this stuff. So you know, I hear, you know, we're cutting this teacher, that teacher, every other teacher, but I don't believe that they really have gone through their budget and really looked at stuff. And given the enormous amount of non-teaching salary positions that are there, and I know they've cut some of the deans and this and that and the other thing, and that's fine and that's great, but I don't think they've cut enough. If our voters don't approve the override, we're going to have to cut a huge amount of the town's budget, a huge amount.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, we are where we are. It's you know, we're at the 11th hour. I don't know what to do. But we're not in a good situation.
Right.
We're not in a good situation.
So my recommendation is the same recommendation I made last year, is that we need to start the engagement with the school district earlier than we tend to do. I think waiting until after their budget workshop in January or into February, at that point, like the train has left the station, it's almost too late.
I agree, and that's what I tried to do last year, but next year we need to do that. We need to be doing it. We need to be doing it in September and October, not January.
Right. Any additional comment or questions before a vote? So I think, you know, folks might wonder, well, why is advisory voting on this thing that's an assessment that we have no control over? I think, to me, the advisory vote is just an acknowledgement that should the budget get approved, we are acknowledging that we are committing $21 million in change towards the school assessment. You know, we don't approve the school budget or disapprove.
Well, you can not approve it either, yeah, as well. So, if you disagree with what the number is, you can, it is your discretion.
Um, I suppose we could vote no on this budget item. I don't know what, I don't know what that does. I don't think it holds any.
Right, no, I don't think I can vote for this budget, but I don't think that's gonna make a bit of difference.
Well, it does
Up to me.
show up, it does show up in the warrant at town hall, and
Yep.
if every budget is voted on unanimously, except for the school budget, I think it does send a message.
Good point.
Well, but I think the challenge is it doesn't show up as a separate item in the warrant. The only thing that will show up in the warrant is, does advisory approve the budget as a whole or not? And if we have concerns with the budget as a whole, I think we should discuss them before voting.
Yeah,
It would be awkward if some of us did not agree with the budget.
yeah, I mean, this is 60 some odd percent of it. And like I say, I apologize for the lateness of my enlightenment, but I can't in good conscience vote for the school budget.
The other thing it's worth noting is that of the 3-member towns, if 2 of the 3 approve their budgets with the school budget in it, then we have no choice but to pay.
I understand.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's right. I mean, we can say whatever we want, but if we're the lone dissenter,
Yep,
and if the voters vote it down, and we're the only town that does, it doesn't really matter. So right now, the school district has voted the budget that we have, and that's the budget that we have to include in our budget. And we can't vote down the district's budget. The only way we can do anything is to vote the entire budget down. But if we're the only town that does that, and the other 2 towns don't, we're either faced with accepting an override, or the voters don't accept an override, and then we have to do something else.
Yep.
It's
Marie,
it sucks to be in a regional school district right now.
Yeah,
It really does.
The other thing to bear in mind, the Lancaster and the Stowe select boards have telegraphed their support for the budget, their budget and their assessment. And likewise, if the override doesn't pass, we can't finagle anything out of the school budget. So all of the cuts would come from the town side.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So are they, Marie, are they expressing support for their budget like we're expressing support for our budget? Meaning that they really don't have a choice? Do you know?
I know that Lancaster had been concerned about monies, not so much for the capital assessment, as they have a fund to cover that. But then following future investigation, they had monies from their enterprise fund. So they are putting forward, the budget in a support fashion. They're not going to bulk, or at least the boards aren't. I don't know the action of the town meeting.
Yeah. Well, I think going forward, the only way to get any movement from the school is that it needs to be united front with all 3 towns starting very early on and discussing with the school what our expectations are on the budget. Because if it's just one town, it's just not, they're not going to pay attention.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
Okay, any additional discussion? So we're going to vote. And again, I think the vote from the advisory committee is an acknowledgement that if the budget passes, we would allocate $21,139,277 toward the school assessment. Is there a motion to approve that value?
I move we approve $21,139,277 toward the Neshoba Regional School District.
I'll second that.
Roll call, Craig,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Don,
No,
Brian,
No,
and I'm an aye. Okay. So I think we have voted for everything in the budget. Unless Jenny corrects me, I think we've covered it all. So I just wanted to take a couple of minutes and look at the kind of the overall budget and where we stand. So the first thing I'd like to do, I've switched to the warrant articles tab, and I just want to confirm this with Marie that we have this right. So Marie, my understanding now is that the Sander conversion, it's kind of off the table.
It is off the table. Don Baum and the getting a more exact estimate discovered that no, this would not be feasible.
Things are never as simple as they seem, right?
No.
Okay, so there are two warrant articles then, the boiler and the wastewater treatment facility that will use a combination of other available funds released from previous articles that were underspent and some free cash.
Yeah.
The other thing I want to confirm is there's a number on here for unpaid bills. This is warrant article number 2. I'm not sure that this number matches what I've seen in the warrant, unless the warrant is changing.
and that's for the 2020 fiscal year 2024 bills?
This is for prior fiscal years. There's probably a combination of 24 and previous.
Okay, but 24, yeah.
Yes. So I think the
Marie, are you able to pull up the most current version of the warrant?
I am able to pull up the version that we'd looked at the select board. Yes. So I can share that because the unpaid bills has two components, one of them being $1,800.45 with a smattering of things of the prior year. And then one of Article 3, unpaid retroactive wages, which is 5431.13. So let me
Right,
add
so-
those two together. 1,800.45. Pulling my calendar or my calculator.
7231.58. What I got.
3 plus 1,800.45. Yes. $7,231.58.
Okay, which really is only going to affect the free cash balance, but okay. So those are the articles. If I switch to budget summary now, is everyone still seeing this? So in the advisory approved column, we are estimating revenue of 32,446,221. Our operating expenditures then are 33,957,500. When you add in some state and county charges, plus those warrant articles that we just looked at, you come up with a total of $34,392,941. And so that brings us to the overall shortfall of 1,946,720. So I guess my question at this point is there any interest in modifying the override request amount, or do we leave it at 1.975 and $2?
If I may ask a question to advisory, since we went forward with the governor's budget, which had our state revenues coming in at, it's the downside of too many spreadsheets, at 349.49, a slight uptick.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if
One
folks
road
feel
seven?
confident and okay with the governor's budget, which was released a while ago. Then one could reduce the override. I've been burned once of going forward with the governor's budget and then, you know, like the House budget, it didn't work out. You're always going to be chasing a number. I haven't gotten any other updates regarding where Healy believes the Commonwealth's financial situation is beyond their monitoring modifications in federal match.
My personal preference, and I'll let everyone weigh in, but my personal preference would be if we're not confident in that number, to reduce this number, the state revenue, to maybe reflect a 0% increase if we're not confident, and at least have this number on the bottom match what we're asking the town for in an override, which I think is very easy to explain. Explaining why we're asking for more than the shortfall. You know, we could do that too, but that's a little tougher to explain.
Yeah,
I agree with you, Bob.
me too.
Me three.
Marie, what do you think? Should we reduce this? Like, how confident? I'll ask you the same question.
It's you know, I'm here with my very small crystal ball.
Yeah. I have no sense for how likely these sorts of things are to go through.
I think for my monitoring on the Commonwealth budget process, everything that I'm seeing, you know, keeps having the headline of "These are unprecedented times." So I'm like, I do know that with the current federal match, Medicaid is 30% of the Commonwealth's budget. The federal match, for as currently configured, reduces that to 20% of the Commonwealth's budget. So
Well, we're talking about a $28,000 difference, right? Between
Right.
the two numbers.
I mean, almost every line on this is a forecast. So, I mean, we can just be reasonable to reduce the forecast by 28,000 in my mind.
Yeah, I think it's more important to have the budget override match the
yeah,
shortfall
yeah.
if it's $28,000.
Right.
Yeah, I can say, you know, the preliminary cherry sheet numbers, they were generated on January 23rd. And so presumably a bunch has changed. There's some cushion in modifying that forecast. But again, I don't know, you know, unless we're just doing it to tick and tie the two numbers, I have no prediction on state revenue.
Right. Okay. I'm a little reluctant to change this without Ninotchka here, since this is her spreadsheet, but if I were to make this the same as fiscal year 25, 311,277. Ooh. That's even worse than what we said. Well,
Yeah.
we don't want that. Um,
Just reduce it 1K. Yeah.
yeah, let me, we were to make this. So if we assume we might receive 312,669 from the state, we end up with an override of 1.975, which is a nice round number. That seem reasonable?
I'm good with it.
Have any members on advisory in terms of monitoring the state budget heard anything positive or negative? Beyond the unprecedented times stuff that I'm reading?
No,
Okay.
but although honestly, I don't pay an enormous amount of attention to it. When does the warrant need to be finalized? Next week?
On the select board will be voting at their meeting on the 27th.
And if we were to make this change, this is a minor change to the warrant because I think the warrant says 1.975 and $2.
Yeah.
Is that a big deal, or are we still in the word editing? Portion.
It will be edited down. The ballot question amount will be exact. Yeah, so one might ask about the $2. But
So just the upper number until it's got the right $2.
Yeah, certainly if we want to leave the $2 in there. Okay, we're back to 1.975 and $2. Okay, and the other thing I'd like to point out that in this budget, we are going into into FY25, we carried in 760,000 in free cash, and we are applying about 282,610 to articles and none to operating expenses. So that will leave us with 477,000 in free cash, which is above our target, which is a nice cushion. Although we certainly need to work on getting that up significantly higher, but for now, it's better than where we were last year. Any questions on the budget as a whole or any additional discussion?
Should we cap that out at, so that the free cash ends up at 350?
I think one of the nice things with the budget now is it does give us a little bit of that cushion. The 350 is really, a bare minimum. The savings to the town of 177,000, I think, is in the noise for individual residents.
I agree. I'm just thinking solely of to keep the keep the override to the bare minimum,
The absolute bare minimum.
essentially. I mean, reserves are reserves, and
Yeah.
I would argue to leave the free cash at the 477. And we have to build this up, and I think there's a good justification to do that. I've been advocating for years that we need to build our free cash up significantly beyond the 350 that we've done. for situations just like this.
Yeah.
If we had more free cash available, we could weather the storm. And we've always dumped it down to 350. So
Yeah,
um
I definitely agree with that.
whether you take it now or pay it later, I think, you know, it is what it is. I would leave it alone.
One of the reasons Stowe is so healthy, I think, when you look at their finances, is they have significant free cash reserves.
Yes, and we need to do this. The town of Bolton needs to do this. And I'm pushing for something that says each year we need to have some percentage more of free cash at the end of our budgeting than we had the year before. We need to look at it differently.
Um,
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah, actually, that's a good suggestion. Instead of having target free cash 350K, maybe it should be target of free cash is last year plus
Mhm.
some amount.
Yes,
Exactly.
yes.
At the minimum, it needs to be inflation.
We should have a target of last year plus something after we've done everything where we are now.
Yeah,
And it should be an increased amount.
yeah. Yeah, we can certainly make that change going
great.
into next year.
Okay.
Okay, so let's put the full budget to a vote. And again, just to acknowledge that we understand the budget, and we understand what has gone into this budget and where all the money, assuming the budget passes, where all the money will be allocated. So is there a motion to approve this final FY26 budget?
I move we approve that final fiscal year 26 budget.
I'll second it.
Roll call, Craig,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Don,
No.
Brian,
No.
I'm an aye. Okay. So I can stop sharing this for a minute. So I think that the next item is, since we're on the budget topic, is the budget information night that's shaping up for April 8th. And it sounds like maybe this would be in the Florence Sawyer Auditorium.
It'll actually, the school had initially confirmed the auditorium, but then there is a play rehearsal that is happening. And so they have asked if we'd be willing to move to the cafeteria. They'll reserve parking spaces and all that stuff.
Okay, Florence Sawyer Cafeteria. And do you know how many people that'll hold?
I can get
Well-
insight on that. Yeah, I'd asked the school for their workshop presentations for the new building. What was their maximum attendance, which they'd said was 30 in-person attendees. So I'm thinking 30, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, 30 seems like a reasonable amount.
Right, okay.
Excuse me, that's at Florence Sawyer?
Yes.
Because they've had the Bolton Repair Cafe that I've been in, and there's certainly been more than 30 people there. That's.
Yeah, oh yeah, but they're for the school, the high school building project, when they were having all of their sessions and inviting people, they'd said max they had 30.
Okay.
Yeah.
And for the point of everyone here and anyone who might be listening is the intent of this budget information night is just to communicate, the details of the budget and the details of the override to whoever wants to show up and whoever might watch the night later. It'll be recorded. From an advisory perspective, if you're available and can be there that night, that would be great, but it's also not necessary that everybody necessarily needs to be there. Marie, do you know if Ross or Kirk are interested in presenting will be there and want to
They
present?
they will be there and are eager to take direction from what we advise, but yes.
And what about Doug's story? We should probably loop him in. So that he knows what we're doing. And I don't, this is not a replacement for the review that happens a week prior to annual town meeting. But he may want to be there as well. And then how do we get the word out about this?
The best thing would be school putting it out on websites as well as having it, one idea would be, we have our announcement on the website. We can also ask local businesses. What had been done before is having like a QR code or a little message where people congregate. I'm aware there may be people who are starting a ballot committee, ballot question committee, to try to get the word to them and hope that I know there's a discussion on the community Facebook page right now, which hasn't mentioned this to my knowledge. I don't have Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good life.
Either.
Yeah. But through all other alternative venues, social media, flyers.
How could we get the word out on Facebook? Is there like an
We have a town
official?
hall Facebook page. So once we post it to the website, it will also be, once we send the news and announcement, I should say, it will also be cross-posted on the Facebook page. Typically, that Facebook page gets reshared to some of the local Facebook boards and committees by those page owners, not committees, pages by those page owners.
I
Okay.
can speak with Kristen DeJohn runs the Bolton community page, and that's where, in my other roles, that's where we get most of our information and traction out
Yep.
through that community page. So
I-
we need to loop her in, or
I don't think that we need to loop her in. She tends to pick things up from the town hall official Facebook page, and then she reposts them. She's very good at that.
she's our de facto town reporter, in my opinion.
Okay, so it sounds like the first step is maybe the official, whatever gets posted on the town webpage, which will have the date, the time, the location, all of that. And then from there, that can move to Facebook pages or Town Crier or whatever, however it gets out. Okay. All right, excellent. Okay, next up on our agenda is a review of the advisory statement. So we put a statement into the warrant every year. That is the advisory summary of the budget. Okay, can everyone see this? So there's just a little language up front. The first page of the statement is the revenue table, which now has to change. I'm going to do this in real time. No, I won't do it in real time. I cut and pasted that in there. Okay, so when does the warrant close? Do we have time to vote on this next week? Okay. All right, so we'll look at it now, but I'll change these numbers and we can vote on it again next week. Anyway, there's a revenue table here which lists our estimated revenue for FY26. It notes that we expect to bring in an additional 2 million or so through taxation. There's a subtlety here. So we always talk about Prop 2.5 and how is it that you can grow your revenue more than Prop 2.5? Well, it's because we previously voted to exclude 1.3 million in debt exclusions. Okay, Page 2 then is total expenditures.
I had one suggestion on page 2. The second paragraph under other highlights. The
Oh, okay.
sentence that starts with, "We committed to fully replenishing the stabilization fund." I just wanted to suggest we start that sentence with, "At that time, comma, we committed to."
Excellent. Okay, so again, this is the second page, total expended, expected expenditures increased by about 2.8 million. You mentioned the education assessments. Debt service is actually decreasing, which is great. No new borrowing in FY26. And then we note the significant increase in benefit costs, primarily being driven by health insurance, which is a big driver of the increase.
Yep.
Other highlights, I mentioned the override. We talk about in the warrant articles that include spending, which is replenishment of the stabilization fund. Then on the last page, we talk about the 2 capital articles, the wastewater treatment facility and the boiler at a Florence Sawyer School.
Mhm.
We also mention Article 6, which I think is a nice thing to highlight, which maybe gets lost a little bit in all the discussion of the override, but the establishing a capital stabilization fund, which is one of those things that will help put us on firmer financial footing going forward. And then finally, we kind of wrap up our best practice targets, and these are based on our financial policies, and you can see how those shake out. So our free cash is a little bit below where we'd like it to be. In terms of this first one is the free cash that gets certified going into this fiscal year. Increasing our balance based on the current budget, that target next year should be right within the 3 to 5% window. Our general stabilization fund will look healthy, assuming that Article 8 passes. Our overall reserves are a little low. Again, that's due to the free cash being lower than it should. Our debt service payments are healthy. And then we're able to fund 100% of our OPEB commitments this year, which is great. You'll recall last year, we only funded about 15%.
Right. Just a friendly heads up, I think that free cash balance changed in your other spreadsheet, so keep an eye on that.
Excellent, thank you. Okay, so that's the statement. If anyone has other suggestions, you can feel free to email them to me and I'll fix those numbers and then we'll vote on it next week very quickly. Okay, next up is the warrant. So Marie or Jenny,
Do you want me to share the latest version?
do you have a, yes, you have
I
a
do.
better, oh, okay, excellent. And maybe you can guide us in terms of which ones we should vote on and which ones we should just hold off on because they're not ready yet.
I think Marie and I can do that jointly. So let me share.
And just a reminder for folks who have not been through this before, so we will vote on all of these articles and our vote will show up in the warrant, and the select board will also vote and their vote will show up in the warrant. Any that we don't vote on tonight, we'll have to vote on next week because again, the warrant will get finalized by the end of next week. Okay, Article 1, we can vote on this. Good to go. Okay, so Article 1 says we will accept the annual reports that were submitted for calendar year 24. Is there a motion to accept Article 1?
I move we accept Article 1.
I'll second.
Roll call, Craig,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Don,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well.
Real time there, just
Look at that.
point that out.
Unpaid bills. Okay, again, this is the previous fiscal year bills.
Right.
Is there a motion to approve Article 2?
I move we approve Article 2.
Second.
Roll call, Craig,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Don,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
and I'm also an aye. Article 3, and Marie may have more details, but I think this was just because the negotiations were
Well, so it was sort of twofold. The last contract cycle covered fiscal 23 and fiscal 24. The retro payment was distributed in the last payroll of fiscal 24 by mutual agreement. Subsequently, a couple of weeks later, an individual had flagged that his retro for fiscal 23 was off. We can't use fiscal 25 numbers to go back to fiscal 23. So this reflects the amount owed in addition to mandatory interest.
okay. Is there a motion to approve Article 3?
I move we approve Article 3.
I'll second.
Roll call, Craig,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Don,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
and I'm also an aye. Okay, Article 4, I think is still in flux.
It's still in flux, working on it with the union representatives.
Okay. All right, Article 5. So this is the one now where we either approve or do not approve the entire operating budget for the year, and it includes the amount of the override. So maybe we should hold off on this one till next week, just in case anything changes.
Sure.
Yeah, and the yellow areas should be filled in by next week, so.
Okay. All right. Article 6 establishes the capital stabilization fund that we had talked about all the way back in, I think it was December when we first started discussing this. And thanks to Marie and Ninotchka and Jenny and whoever kind of came up with the language for this, I think this is a great step in the right direction. Is there a motion to approve Article 6?
I move we approve Article 6.
Second.
Roll call, Craig,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Don,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well. I guess I should point out that while this article establishes the fund, it doesn't put any funds into the fund.
Yes, that I foresee is the summer homework of the advisory committee working with me.
Figure out what we're going to put in here. Okay, great, good. Article 7, spending limits. This is our usual. We have to set the maximum amount that can be expended from revolving funds. And have any of these changed from previous years?
The one for the revolving fund for the cadet program has increased to 7,500. It's currently at 5,000.
All right, is there a motion to approve Article 7?
I move we approve Article 7.
A second.
Roll call, Craig,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Don,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well. Article 8 will fully replenish the stabilization fund by allocating 230,000 into the fund. Is there a motion to approve Article 8?
I move we approve Article 8.
Second.
Roll call, Craig,
Aye.
Don,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
And I'm also an aye. Okay, and now we start getting out of my depth here. All right, Article 9.
I'll
Marie,
give you a short overview. There's a provision in Mass General Law that lets municipalities set up elderly disabled taxation aid funds such that residents can write tax deductible checks to this fund. And this fund basically sets their parameters with the fund membership stipulated by Mass General Law, review the applications or applicants, and then allocates the money directly to the tax bills. So it is an ideal situation of, if you ever wonder, well, I'm giving a check to an organization, a charitable organization, how much is going to, the intended beneficiary? This is one of those 100%.
okay, great. Is there a motion to approve Article 9?
I move we approve Article 9.
Second,
Roll call, Craig,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Don,
aye,
Brian,
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well. Article 10. I think we're just increasing fees,
We're increasing fines.
fines.
in
Okay.
this, and this is for, yes, it's a reflection also of the amount of work that the town clerk's office does for, following up with dog owners, of trying to be sure that the animals are licensed.
And the current rates were probably set, who knows when.
While ago, so now you can see the strike throughs.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Okay, is there a motion to approve Article 10?
I move we approve Article 10.
second,
Roll call, Craig,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Don,
aye,
Brian,
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well. Article 11.
This was put on at the request of the treasurer, Michelle Carlisle. Basically, it allows her to invest the town's monies in multiple financial instruments. It doesn't mean, that they were being imprudently invested currently, but in effect, it also allows us to diversify our risk.
So this just gives the town a little more flexibility.
A little
and-
more flexibility. Yeah.
right,
All right, is there a motion to approve Article 11?
I move we approve Article 11.
second,
Roll call, Craig,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Don,
aye,
Brian,
Aye.
and I'm an aye. Article 12, reauthorizing some debt.
This is where I said, we're hoping to hear from Ninotchka, but the town had authorized monies. The town has likewise received a grant. The amount that was debted was not the total amount. The select board had opted to wait for Ninotchka. I strongly encourage advisory to do likewise.
Always good advice. Okay, that sounds good. We'll wait for Ninotchka. Okay, Article 13.
This is the addressing for the fines. The select board has been engaged in both a fee as well as fine review. These are for the non-criminal disposition. Most have been adjusted so that they're a deterrent to any possible entity acting illegally. The other notable point is that it reflects we use trash bags, and one component that had never been used in recent memory in the prior page was striking hawking of fish, fruits, or vegetables.
So we've eliminated that.
So we've eliminated that.
Okay.
And in fact, all of the fines have gone up. 300 is the maximum that we are permitted to fine individuals for non-criminal disposition per Mass General Law.
Right. Well, is there a motion to approve Article 13?
I move we approve Article 13.
Second,
Roll call, Craig,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Don,
aye,
Brian,
aye,
I'm an aye as well.
Planning Board.
Okay. So this adjusts the sign regulations? Okay. Is the language finalized here? Is it ready to be voted on, or is it still being adjusted?
I spoke to Pam this morning, or it might have been yesterday morning. You'll see a couple areas that are still highlighted yellow. The select board has not yet voted on any of the planning board articles. However, Pam's review of the final changes that were proposed by the select board, she didn't feel any of them were substantial. I think she was planning on connecting with the chair of the select board and having a discussion. She had no problem with having the planning board re-vote on those.
Okay,
So I don't know if I'm giving you a clear answer on whether or not to proceed, or you're welcome
Well-
to wait and vote at the time that the select board votes on them.
right, and it sounds like the planning board may, in fact, re-vote on some of these as well.
They may.
Okay, all right, so we'll hold off till next week then. Okay, a lot of language about signs, okay, and this is also a planning board, Article 15 is planning board,
It is.
ADU.
okay. About accessory dwelling units, okay. Zoning bylaws, okay, floodplain district update,
Tired.
all planning board. Planning board's been busy.
They have.
Site plan review process. Okay. And open space design update?
Did I go too fast? I'm sorry.
No, no, it's fine.
I'm sure you guys are reading every word as I go.
I've memorized it, yeah.
Cottage overlay, okay. Good.
I think 21 is the first one to vote on. Or at least that was the first one I think the select board voted on.
Oops.
Okay, special act alcoholic beverage licenses.
Yes, this, and I want to give kudos to Jenny for flagging and being very aware of all of the work that applicants need to go through, but also aware that we are under the gun. If you scroll down, in fact, Bolton had turned down the sale of intoxicating liquors. What this means is that even though the ABCC site states that we have 14 all alcohol licenses, individuals are still required to go through a home rule petition should we wish to go over our existing all alcohol licensing. This doesn't change the process for an entity who wishes to apply. They must meet both the select board as the local licensing authorities standards as well as, requests. They also need to meet the ABCCs. But it would let us have access. It wouldn't put us quite so much under the gun as I want to say Jenny has been, at least in working with applicants so that we don't lose a license.
Okay,
And
all right, any,
open up a new business with a license, because they would have to wait 18 months to get that license. So they'd need to stay afloat for the first 18 months before they could start selling alcohol. we're, Bolton is in a very small handful of towns in Massachusetts that are subject to a home rule petition to issue the licenses that are within our quota allotted by the Alcoholic Beverages Commission.
Okay. Are there any questions or is there a motion to approve Article 21?
I move we approve Article 21.
I'll second.
Roll call, Craig,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Don,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well. Okay. Notice of town meetings.
Acknowledging that the newspapers in which we have been lucky enough to publish may or may not be around, and that our town website electronically is our standard public space for posting.
Marie, do you have a sense of how common it is for like warrants to just be posted? Is that getting to be the norm now?
Warrants are often electronically posted. I know some communities rely on, people sending people to the website with QR codes or being willing on a case-by-case basis to print out and mail copies. But newspapers, not so much. Yeah.
Not much anymore. Okay. Is there a motion to approve Article 22?
I move we approve Article 22.
I'll second.
Roll call, Craig,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Don,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well. Article 23. Okay, so this is the first of the two capital requests, and this is for the wastewater treatment facility, which we are required to fix by 2026.
Yes, December of 2026.
Right. So this transfers some money from previously released articles and 10,000 from free cash. And I think this is just one of maybe multiple payments.
Yes. But it's sort of keeping it is an adequate amount. This approach was suggested in conjunction with the DPW director that they would get a start on other outstanding items. They also believed they could meet the December 2026 deadline, presuming at next year's town meeting, there would be an additional appropriation.
Right. Any questions on this? Is there a motion to approve Article 23?
I move we approve Article 23.
Second.
Roll call, Craig,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Don,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well. Article 24 is the second capital spending article, and several years ago, the boiler at the Florence Sawyer School failed. We had committed to, so the school paid for the replacement. We committed to repaying the school to cover the cost of that, and the $81,892 is our final payment to do that. Any questions? Is there a motion to approve Article 24?
I move we approve Article 24.
Second.
Roll call, Craig,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Don,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
I'm an aye also. Article 25. I think we're just accepting, the town is accepting a new development.
Right.
Yes, yes, and likewise, the acceptance of the easements will be necessary for the roundabout.
Is it okay that the blanks are not filled in here?
That I believe is one of those things that they will be confirming. So no, it is not okay, but it's,
Um, Okay, I see the select board voted on this. Should we vote on it as well, or should we hold off?
Entirely your call. Do we wish to accept it? The planning board has already reviewed and recommends the acceptance, and it is necessary for the roundabout. So I would encourage you.
I just want to know if advisory is comfortable approving it with the blanks, blank lines.
I'm fine with that. I'm very surprised that the roundabout reaches all the way up to Goose Pond.
It is the one trail side path. Yeah, area.
Okay,
Is there a motion to approve Article 25?
I move we approve Article 25.
second,
Roll call, Craig,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Don,
aye.
Brian,
aye,
I'm an aye also. And finally, Article 26. Actually, do we
We don't
we
vote
don't
on
vote.
that.
We don't need to vote. Okay. Great. That is it for the warrant. There's a handful that we'll have to go back and vote on. I'll do that next week. Excellent. Thank you. Okay, we're almost there. We have 2 transfer requests that just kind of showed up early this week
Uh,
to review.
Our friends at Myrick O'Connell.
Yes, it never ends.
No,
Okay, the first one, this is pretty easy. This is for the town nurse, and the request is to transfer $435.36. It was, the original budget was just a little short. Is there a motion to approve the nursing transfer of $435.36?
I move we approve the nursing transfer of 435.36.
second,
Roll call, Craig,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Don,
aye.
Brian,
aye,
I'm an aye also. And if I can find the next transfer request, I will. It's there, okay. I think it's right. So, right, this is again, ongoing legal costs. 14,691, and my guess is this won't be the last one either. Just for folks' awareness, prior to today, we had about 93,000 remaining in our reserve fund.
So now, so we're exceeding it now, and this is what, for January or February work? I'm just trying to get a rough idea of how much more of these we're gonna get hit with.
No, good question.
They're monthly, so this is through February, so we'll
Okay,
likely have a March, April, May, and June
yeah,
transfer requests.
approximately 4 more, yeah, okay,
Yeah, I don't know what the amounts will be, but certainly there'll be 4 more.
absolutely. Yep, no, yeah, I was just looking for a big rule of thumb, kind of. Thank you, Jenny.
Mhm.
Is there a motion to approve the legal transfer request for 14,691?
I move we approve the legal transfer request for 14,691.
I'll second, excuse my coughing, please.
Roll call, Craig,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Don,
Aye,
Brian,
aye,
and I'm an aye as well.
I will say it's Marie and I's least favorite task is opening up the envelope each month.
yep,
Okay. Last thing, we have 2 sets of minutes that Bill sent out to approve. The first is for January 14th. Any comments, corrections? Is there a motion to approve the minutes from January 14th?
I move we approve the minutes from January 14th.
Second,
Roll call. Craig,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Don,
aye,
Brian,
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well. Finally.
By the way, oh,
Go ahead, Craig.
there was one minor problem on that last one.
Oh,
If it's the name, it's already been changed, Craig.
okay. Here are the minutes from January 21st. Any comments, corrections? If not, is there a motion to approve the minutes from January 21st?
I move we approve the minutes from January 21st.
second,
Roll call. Craig,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Don,
aye,
Brian,
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well. Okay, I think that's it. We'll plan on meeting next week. Again, we'll just finalize the last few things, vote on the remaining articles for the warrant, and we'll vote on our advisory committee statement for the warrant.
very good.
Anyone have anything else? Thanks for sticking it out tonight. It was a long one.
Should I go ahead and post the advisory committee to attend on Thursday, just in case something doesn't happen
a
on
gr-
Tuesday that needs to?
That's a great idea, right? In case something happens on Tuesday and we need to join the select board on Thursday and vote. Yeah, that's happened before, so great idea. Okay, if there's nothing else, is there a motion to adjourn?
I move we adjourn.
Second,
Excellent. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Okay, great. Thank you, everyone. See you next week.
thank you.